Hello, friends. How are you today? Well, today I'd like to look at the energies with you of the Schumann resonance and talk about the recent trends of energies. I really want to tell the story of what I think happened here over the past few days, because I think it all started out with the technological effect, which happened on July 3rd on the chart. And I do not think that CERN affects the chart, in my view. Now, this is my personal opinion. And I want to just give you an idea just to start. The hertz range of this chart, it's from 0 to 40 hertz. And the power of a particle accelerator, it operates at such substantially higher frequencies that it's almost like it's in a different reality. If you can view reality, which I do, as being in sets of frequency bands. And a frequency band on a smaller spectrum. Here is an example of a frequency band. So here's a chart from the 6th to the 8th of July, 2022. Here are the frequency bands for the different resonances in that chart. See, here's the red band, here's the green band, here's the yellow band, and the white. Now, I believe that these frequency bands are experienced by us human beings as being different aspects of our reality that we live on here on Earth. And it's interesting because the Schumann resonance, which goes from 0 to 40 hertz, okay, that's the hertz range here. Well, this is the same hertz range as human brain waves. And so what I feel is that these frequency bands here in white, in yellow, in red, in green, that they represent different aspects of our human experience. So the green, in my view, is our general sort of health and well-being. The red is the deeper experiences and thoughts and emotions. The yellow is the lighter experience and the non-physical of the thoughts, emotions, dreams, the non-physical, the astral. And the white would be the expanded experience, like when we feel otherworldly, when we feel connected with God, when we feel angelic, or celestial benefit, or when action on the chart is being highlighted in lieu of that expanded energy. It points to where the focus is of the energies. So those are the frequency bands in this reality that we perceive as human beings. So what I'm saying on the broader chart here, I'm going to keep this as simple as I can in talking about these ideas. So here's the thing. If you look at CERN's website and you read about the history of particle accelerators, well, what you'll find is first, these were originally called radio frequency accelerators. And when they were initially being developed, the distance that they could send their beams of particles or whatever it was, the distance was quite short. In the view of the scientists, looking back from today back to that time as the radio frequency technology was being developed, the hertz that they used at that time were relatively low compared to today's hertz. So here's the thing. The old technology for radio frequency acceleration operated at 1 megahertz. Okay, and then as it advanced, it went up to 3.5 megahertz, which is still considered relatively low by today's standards. So if we just look at the old technology, not today's souped up particle colliders, but we are looking at the old technology having operated at 1 megahertz, which is, converting it to hertz, 1 million hertz. Now, the Schumann resonance operates in a band of 0 to 40 hertz. So here's what I'm saying. When you're operating in the million plus hertz range, it's almost like you're creating a separate reality, or you're creating an experience band for what that is that you're doing that is not in a reality that most human beings would normally consider to be quote unquote real. And so I do not feel that from a technical perspective, simply looking at the Hertz ranges, it is not reasonable to think that this technology could affect the Schumann, and I do not perceive that on the Schumann resonance charts. So I know that I've been asked this question going back at least a year by many people, and I'm finally ready to talk to you about this. And you just have to bear with me on the timing of how I do things. My goal here is to be a consistent voice for how I really view it. It's important to me to share from my authentic observations and authentic self, and to not be pulled this way or that by what others are doing. This is just how I do it. And I especially go with guidance. And if my guidance is to spend a little more time researching or thinking about how to really present something, then that's what I'm going to do. And so I thank those of you who bear with me on this. And if you ask me a question about it, I hope that in my last video and this one I've been answering it. There's something else that I want to talk to you about. So here's the thing. There's another way that quote-unquote CERN could change reality. And it's not really the technology itself, in my view, and what they are discovering. That is separate. That's actually separate from what I want to talk to you about. The propaganda, the discussions, the suggestions for creation can change reality. When a human being decides to use their creative force and power to pay attention. So when I sit here, I take a listen to the news and I decide to get excited about it, wow. In my mind, I use my imagination to consider, okay, what is happening here? What could be going on? Is this happening? Is that happening? What could be created? Are we changing realities? Then what I'm doing is I'm taking the God force in me and I am agreeing to create from there. So then how the creative capability works is, as human beings, we have the thoughts. We generate those thoughts and emotions within a range of 0 to 40 hertz and potentially then affect the outcome of the images on the Schumann resonance. If human beings have the ability, through their brain waves operating from 0 to 40 hertz, to then also affect the charting of the Schumann resonance, then that is how the creative capability of making a suggestion and then bringing that into reality, that is how that would work. Whether I'm creating in fear or in love, these things don't matter to the God force. It acts at our command. What do I mean by that? I mean that God gives us the right to use His energy at our command. And meaning the creative force that you have as a human being, which is your heart and soul connection, your ability to have emotions, your ability to have thoughts, your ability to move and act in your physical body. So that's how the Creator gives us the ability to use the creator force ourselves as we choose. And this is the essence of free will choice. Then the God force will work with me to assure that I create as I desire because I am a divinely created being. I'm attached to that energy. It literally lives in me as my life force. And this is one of the reasons why I did not want to participate in the discussion until now, because I did not want to contribute to that creation, because I do not consent and I do not agree with it. Therefore, I chose not to contribute my energy. And this is how you do it. When you are creating, if you do not consent, you simply withdraw your energy. And that is how you cause those plans to fall. If those of us who are raising our consciousness, who are light workers, who are prayer warriors, who believe in God, who try to live a good life, who are just simply seeking answers, if we choose not to put our attention into something that is asking for us to create that thing, then it fails, because it is asking for us to participate because we are divine children of the Creator with the literal substance of the Creator at our fingertips. So what you will find is those who do not have access to this creative force will attempt to co-opt the human being and ask the human being to create for them. This can be quite insidious, and I have been approached when I had much less capability. Someone, directly engaged me, attempting to get me to create something that was not good for me, simply by talking me through. And I kept attempting to break up the discussion because I didn't know how to make it stop. I didn't know how to make myself stop engaging with the energy at that time. And thankfully, what happened was a dear good friend who was actually an incarnation of St. George came and grabbed me physically, came over, touched my shoulder, and said, "Susan, let's go." And I went. I went with him. And we got out of there, and I cleared my field. And so these are techniques and processes that you can develop as well. You are a mighty creator being. You can choose to access your connection with divinity to create the life you choose, the life you wish for yourself, and the life you dream of. So my suggestion to you and my thought for you today is choose carefully.